Oui, il est là.
Hello.
Oui, bonjour. Est-ce que je parle avec Monsieur Jolivet?
Lui-même. À qui je parle?
C'est Natalia de CBC News à Montréal. Enchantée.
Bonjour.
This is not a regular interview. I'm speaking with Daniel Jolivet from inside a correctional facility. For the past 33 years, he's been incarcerated, but since day one, he's always claimed his innocence.
It's been so long. What's keeping you motivated?
La force de caractère, madame. La force de caractère and not want to let go. I'm innocent. I want to go to the end. I want to show to the world that I'm innocent. I've not committed never violence against no one.
And now, after years of challenging his case, there could be a light at the end of the tunnel. That's because Quebec's Crown prosecutor's office and the federal government say that Jolivet could have been the victim of a miscarriage of justice.
Then the DPCP comes up with that answer. Oh my God, I think, okay, maybe tomorrow I'm going to be free.
This is Daniel Jolivet's story.
In November of 1992, a quadruple murder is committed in Brossard. 2 years later, in 1994, Daniel Jolivet is declared guilty. At the time, the main proof against Jolivet was the testimony of a career criminal, a police informant. He told investigators that Jolivet confessed to him the morning after the murders. According to Quebec's Crown prosecutor, the judge reminded the jury that the informant was an unreliable witness. Jolivet appeals his case, and the Quebec Court of Appeal orders a new trial. But in the year 2000, the Supreme Court of Canada reinstates Daniel Jolivet's guilty verdict. Since then, Jolivet has been trying to challenge his conviction. He's reached out on multiple occasions to the Criminal Conviction Review Group. They review and investigate each application and make recommendations directly to the Minister of Justice. But every time, Jolivet's case was rejected, and at the time, progress seemed to be at a standstill.
Every day that I pass in jail is another day that I'm suffering, you know. I should have not been in jail even on the 14th of November 1992. It should not have been me they arrested, you know.
That is until the Quebec Crown prosecutor's office reviewed Jolivet's case earlier this year. It concluded that it's possible that a miscarriage of justice may have occurred, and was all revealed to Jolivet's lawyer in a letter.
In it, the chief prosecutor writes that an exhaustive review of numerous documents and information available at the time of the trial or discovered since permits to reasonably conclude that the defense's strategy could have been modified or solidified.
I was surprised, but not surprised, I would say, because, up to today, we've been convinced that Mr. Jolivet is a victim of a miscarriage of justice.
The DPCP concluded that Daniel Jolivet might not have received a fair trial. They found that some evidence wasn't disclosed to him, evidence that was very relevant to his case. So there's a reasonable possibility that because of that missing evidence, it could have affected the overall fairness or even the outcome of the trial. The DPCP is the body that brought the charges against Jolivet in the first place. So a conclusion like this is significant.
And now we have a very weighty position from them that's going to help us to go forward.
And that's exactly what they did. Jolivet's lawyers went ahead and asked the federal justice minister, Sean Fraser, to reopen the case. And the Criminal Conviction Review Group has agreed to investigate because they also believe that a miscarriage of justice might have occurred.
So definitely something that we've never seen before within Daniel Jolivet's case. This is the first time that the CCRG is responding in this way.
Yeah, it's the first time that CCRG is responding in this way. It's the first time that they offer no openness, I would say, to the fact that Mr. Jolivet might be the victim of a miscarriage of justice. So this is very important because for the last 20 years, Mr. Jolivet tried to get to that phase of the process and wasn't successful in doing so. And on 4 different occasions, his application was rejected by the minister.
So this second phase of the CCRG's investigation, how long might something like this take? Do we have an idea?
Normally, what we've seen so far in different cases can take easily a year to a year and a half, maybe 2 years until the minister makes his decision at the end of the process. The good news is that during that time, if we can get the release of Mr. Jolivet, at least he doesn't have to wait in prison for the final decision.
This is the next step for you, from what I understand, is to ask for an interim release of Daniel Jolivet.
Yeah, that's what I'm planning to do next week, to send my application to the court, the Superior Court in this case. And of course, we'll have contact with the DPCP to see if they agree to the release of Mr. Jolivet and under what conditions.
So waiting again until we know what happens next.
What has that been like for you, waiting?
Torture. Can I say that? Yes. Torture. For all those years, 33 years in jail, writing letters, waiting for answers from one another, getting good answers, then answering back. I never assaulted no one. I'm not an assaulter. When I was outside there, I had a family. I was living. Even the kids are still there today. They're still there. They're following me. They believe in me, and they know I'm innocent. What can I add more,
Once the Criminal Convictions Review Group completes its investigation, it'll release a final report. Now, that report will be reviewed by Daniel Jolivet and his lawyers, as well as Quebec's Provincial Crown Prosecutor's Office. Now, it's important to note that it's impossible to be directly acquitted by the federal justice minister himself. So the decision coming out of that final report could result in one of three things: ordering a new trial, a referral to the Court of Appeals, or a rejection.